Welcome back to Durian ASEAN. So let's continue our segment on the political and the current affairs around Southeast Asia. We can stay here in this nation, the Malaysia, where Malaysia remains China's largest ASEAN trading partner, and this Malaysia, the nation, maintained a strong financial and commercial cooperation with China that goes about 414 billion ringgit in total trade volume in 2015. Of course, that is also despite of this slowdown. So Malaysia remains their largest trading partner in ASEAN, and trade volume in 2013 and 14 surpassed a US dollar about 100 billion US dollars mark. So this is an achievement for 2015, although there was a slightly less, but it's still quite strong considering the strengthening of the US dollar that year. And the event that was held to talk about this issue, that there was the minister there, but we need to work really hard not only to maintain but also to boost our trade figures with China. Well, this is quite tricky. We've been talking about this for some time. China is very a gigantic country when it comes to economic trade. Despite of the problems that we are having with China, especially when it comes to South China Sea, but when it comes to economic trade, Malaysia and China, the relationship and also the trade is very important important force for driving SMEs and SMIs forwarding to continue the relationship as well as for economic boost. So of course, it is very definite answer that they need to work harder to contribute, and the country can still prosper as whole, and if people work hard. And also at the same time, it is not to forget the Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. He'll be his first working visit to China and until February 4th, which is just 2 days after this. And he will also hold meetings with the Central Political and Legal Affairs Secretary of the Communist Party of China, Meng Jiangzhu, and the Minister of Public Security, Goh Sek-kun. So, why is it there? What is this visit for? Well, continuation of the relationship between Malaysia and China. The visit there in China is to strengthen the bilateral ties between these two nations, of course, but especially in the areas of security, counterterrorism, and immigration. So Dr. Ahmad Zahid will be accompanied by his wife, Datin Seri Hamida Khamis, as well as the senior government officers from the Foreign Affairs Ministry and a Home Affairs Ministry. So it'll be very great to see continuation to enjoy this close and cordial bilateral relations and also cooperation in the key areas, which includes politics, economy, and trade, defense, and security. The Foreign Ministry said China had been Malaysia's largest trading partner, and of course this is starting since 2009. So it is very well known and worldwide if you compare with other countries. Malaysia is China's 8th largest trading partner, and then of course again largest trading partner among ASEAN countries, while China is Malaysia's largest source of imports and second largest export destination. So between January and November 2015, Malaysia's total trade with China in fact increased by 12% to about 54.38 billion US dollars or 210.63 billion ringgit compared with the corresponding period in 2014. And this shows, of course, it's based on the Bernama News Agency. To talk about to move on to the next news, this is a sort of a breaking news coming all the way from central Laos. There were 2 people from China that were killed, and the third was wounded by a recent bomb blast near a military camp in Laos. And that was according to the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Of course, the investigations, more analysis need to be done. But just to let you know the story of this is the explosion took place in the mountainous Sai Mon province in central Laos. That was just on Sunday, although the details of attacks were slow to trickle yet, and the men were in truck when the bomb exploded nearby. So one of those killed worked for the miner company based in the Yunnan province in southwest of China, which shares a border with Laos. So the explosion occurred about 8 a.m. So Laotian military personnel arrived at the scene. And of course, this wounded man, whose surname is Zhou, was taken to Vientiane, the capital. So, whole the report came and also released about the attack that had taken place at the road construction site, and the work on the project stopped after the blast was the third in the area in a month. So this is something that the government or even the authorities really need to look at, because this bomb is not the first one, and this is already the third on the same roadside since December 30th. So one witness reported driving past the bomb site shortly after the attack and seeing about 10 soldiers inspecting a damaged truck with the dead and wounded Chinese inside. So reporter also quoted an official with a road construction company saying that it was removing its equipment from the construction zone. And also when it comes to the partners, the relationship between Laos and China, well, they have been China has been one of the biggest trade partners and the foreign investors in Laos, and by having these bomb blast incidents again and again, well, which is quite a disturbing, and also the growing number of Chinese businessmen are working in Laos apparently, and that also has led to a sort of resentment among some Laotians at the same time. So just to talk about the last week, the Laos People's Revolutionary Party named Bon Hang Vochit. Well, the new leader signaling that Laos might try to build closer ties with Vietnam and maintain greater distance from China, but we never know, because having China as a good trading partner is definitely beneficial to the country. But when it comes to incident like this, the site, the people around there really need to be careful and better carry out the investigation as soon as possible. So that's it for our political and current affair news around Southeast Asia. But stay tuned, we'll be back after this short break to talk about economic side of Southeast Asia and also a social culture side. Stay tuned.